This is how I stayed consistent on my 40-pound weight loss journey and how you can too with these 7 tips. So tip number 1 is going to be planning and preparation. You can't wing weight loss. You need a proper plan and a proper structure that's going to keep you accountable. An example of a simple plan would be how much weight you want to lose in a week, how many calories you want to aim for, how long is your weight loss phase. Tip number 2 is going to be tracking your metrics. Make sure that you're tracking your average weight, your average calories, your weights in the gym. Are they going up? Because if you're not keeping on top of these things, you're essentially blinding yourself of data that could be aiding you in achieving your goals. If you ignore these data points, you can't expect to see the progress that you want. And that's because you're not aware. And if you're not aware, you lose focus, you have self-doubt, and ultimately that can lead to you quitting. Tip number 3 is going to be appropriately setting up your environment. So this would be taking trigger foods out of the house. So trigger foods are foods that when you see them or when you eat them, they set you off and they promote you to keep eating, which can often lead to binge eating. Surround yourself with low calorie dense foods that are going to help you adhere to your diet and help you with your weight loss goals. Now, if you do want to have highly palatable food in the house, then exercise portion control, i.e. when you're going to the shops and you see the bag of M&Ms, instead of buying the family bag, you buy the snack size bag. This is helpful because they're going to be less calories because it's a smaller size. But when you have things portioned out, you're more aware of the quantity of food that you're eating, which means you're more likely to stop once you've had that one bag. Removing temptations from your house makes weight loss 10 times easier, and it makes dieting a lot more sustainable. And if dieting is more sustainable, that means it is more consistent. Tip number 4 is going to be taking breaks. You see, constantly dieting just isn't sustainable. Your body and your mind needs time to rest and it needs time to recover. Taking breaks from your diet makes you more responsive to your next weight loss phase, thus resulting in you losing more weight than if you hadn't have taken the break. Now, a break from your diet could simply be a prolonged period at your maintenance calories, so maybe 4 to 8 weeks, or it can be a diet break within your fat loss phase. For example, if you have an 8-week fat loss phase, at week 4, you have a week where you eat at your maintenance calories. So avoid constant states of calorie restriction because this can significantly increase your chances of rebounding and binging and gaining all of the weight back that you've lost. Tip number 5 is going to be setting realistic goals. Don't be too ambitious. Set yourself small goals and targets. Instead of losing the first 30 pounds in 2 months, how about you just start with the first 5 and work your way up from there? Because failing to achieve these unrealistic expectations can leave you feeling like a failure, and it can leave you in a very negative headspace, which leads you more prone to emotional eating, thus you gain all of the weight back. Tip number 6 is going to be taking it slow. You see, rapid weight loss seems very attractive, but the reality is that it's very ugly. Most people, when they lose weight very quickly, often end up being skinny fat, or they end up gaining all of the weight back that they've lost. Rapid weight loss is often associated with unsustainable dieting habits. So avoid harsh calorie restrictions, excessive cardio, and starvation diets. Sustainable diets focus on consistent and gradual progress, not extreme highs and lows. So make sure you take it slow. Ooh, see that rhymed? Tip number 7 is going to be taking progress pictures. Taking progress pictures are great as they remind you where you came from, and they can also boost your motivation on days where all of the low calorie or diet tips and tricks just aren't working. I do this on my toughest days. I grab my phone and I find a picture of myself from when I was really big, and this just helps remind myself that I need to make the right choices to make sure that I don't end up in the position that I was in a year and a bit ago. And also, it's a subtle flex. You know, you can post your little before and after picture when you're done. Anyway, tip number 8, avoid over restrictive diets. Over restrictive dieting is a recipe for disaster and inconsistency. It is impossible for you to stay perfect all of the time. So incorporate your favorite foods in moderation, exercise portion control, and find lower calorie versions of your favorite foods. Flexibility and leniency are the keys to consistency when you're losing weight, so avoid the over restrictiveness. Tip number 9 is gonna be meal prepping. Meal prepping makes eating convenient. You have the food that you need readily available when you need it, and this removes the excuse of you going out and ordering takeout because you don't have anything to eat or you can't be asked to cook. It takes away the excuse of you making a poor decision with your eating habits, and having meals that are prepped saves you a lot of time and a lot of effort, thus making it easier to stick to your weight loss goals. To be successful with weight loss, loss, you need to make the process as easy as possible. So click on the screen right now to learn the 10 things making weight loss 10 times harder and how to avoid them.